Yes, let's begin with the explanation of the lesson. Lesson 3.3, Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking, born January 8, 1942, is a British scientist, professor, and author who has done groundbreaking work in physics and cosmology and whose books have helped to make science accessible to everyone. So, Stephen Hawking was a scientist, he was a professor, and he was an author. He has written numerous books and he has done some groundbreaking work. Groundbreaking means very innovative, very creative, very landmark work in the fields of physics and cosmology. His contribution to these fields is immense. And he has also written books, and his books have helped to make science accessible. Science easy to understand. Accessible means easy to understand. At the age of 21, while studying cosmology at the University of Cambridge, he was diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. The short form is ALS. So, at a very young age of 21, he was diagnosed with this disease, that is amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. So, what is amyotrophic lateral sclerosis? It is a progressive nervous system disease that affects nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord, causing loss of muscle control. So, just when he was a student, he was diagnosed with this disease, that is amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. Part of his life story was depicted in 2014 film The Theory of Everything. In 2014, a film was made titled The Theory of Everything, in which Stephen Hawking's part of his life story has been depicted. Over the years, Stephen Hawking has written or co-written a total of 15 books. A few of the most noteworthy include, now out of the 15 books which he has written, we have a mention of few of his noteworthy books over here. Let's read it. In 1988, Hawking catapulted to international prominence with the publication of A Brief History of Time. So it was 1988 when Hawking was launched. Catapulted means he was launched to international prominence. International prominence means international fame. He became well known all over the world internationally when he published his book, A Brief History of Time, when this book was published. The short informative book became an account of cosmology for the masses and offered an overview of space and time, the existence of God, and future. So it was a short informative book which gave a lot of information about uh, various things, and it gave an account means it explained, it described uh, cosmology to masses, to a large group of people. It made a large group of people understand the existence of universe, how it was formed, and all. Along with it, the book also gave an overview, a general idea or an outline of space and time, about existence of God and about the future. The work was an instant success. Here work is the book, A Brief History of Time. It became a great success, and the success was achieved very instantly, very quickly, spending more than 4 years atop the London Sunday Times bestseller list. So, London Sunday Times, uh, it declared this book to be atop for how many years? For 4 years. Atop means on the top of its list of the best books, bestseller list, best books which were sold. Since its publication, it has sold millions of copies worldwide and been translated into more than 40 languages. The book became so popular all over the world that it was translated into nearly 40 languages so that everyone can understand the um, understand cosmology, can understand space and time, existence of God, and about the future of universe. A Brief History of Time also wasn't as easy to understand as some had hoped. So there were some people who did not understand the concepts which Stephen Hawking had discussed in the book A Brief History of Time. So in 2001, Hawking followed up his book with The Universe in a Nutshell, which offered a more illustrated guide to cosmology's big theories. So in 2001, Hawking came up with another book and he titled the book The Universe in a Nutshell. And this book, it offered more illustrated guide. Illustrated means to explain with examples. So in this book, Stephen Hawking tried to make people understand cosmology's big theories with the help of examples. In 2005, Hawking authored the even more accessible A Briefer History of Time, which further simplified the original work's core concepts and touched upon the newest developments in the field like string theory. So in 2005, Hawking came up with more accessible, easy to understand book, and that was titled A Briefer History of Time. Now, in this book, he further simplified the original work's core concepts. Original work was the brief history of time, and the concepts which he had explained over there, he made it simpler in this book to understand. Core concepts, the basic concepts which he explained in the previous book, he explained in a simpler form in A Briefer History of Time. And in this book, he also touched upon means he briefly talked about the newest developments in the field of string theory. String theory in physics, it is a theoretical framework in which the point-like particles of particle are replaced by one-dimensional objects called strings. So he talked about the string theory also in this. So children, now let's go to the next video and let's go further and understand the lesson.